I wish I had seen this video when I first started, because the first 6 months of starting your agency are gonna fucking suck. But if you can get through that, it's well worth it. For those of you who don't know, my name is Gavin. I run an email and SMS marketing agency in the food and beverage industry. We are currently on track to do about 15K per month, which I know might seem like a lot, but in the agency space, the reality is that's nothing. So what I'm gonna break down is pretty much a month by month for the first 6 months of what you're probably gonna experience when you're starting your agency. I'm gonna kind of break down the costs involved, what you're gonna expect, how to kind of overcome some of those mental hurdles, and really just convey to you guys that the biggest thing is consistency. If you're consistent and you can get through these first 6 months, if you can even get through the first 3 months, you'll be miles ahead of pretty much everybody else out there. And the reality is, you've probably got what it takes to make it, right? It is really those first few months. And if you can get through that, you're good. It's just consistency. I'm not gonna fluff around month one. Month one is where you're gonna be super optimistic. You're gonna be ready to go. You're gonna be taking in all the knowledge that you possibly can. You'll probably start doing your cold showers. You'll be in all the Facebook groups. You'll be asking people questions, which is awesome, right? This is where pretty much everybody gets to. They're super excited. They love that they're working on this new project. They're motivated, and they're just taking in as much information as they can. Odds are you're probably going through a course, you're doing something that Iman Gadzi told you to do, and those are great starting points, right? On top of that, you might even be reaching out to other people to start partnerships with an agency. I'm gonna tell you right now, don't do this. There's no need. Odds are the people that you're gonna partner with aren't gonna be as motivated as you, aren't gonna be as diligent as you when it comes to running your agency, and are really just gonna be a drain on resources and gonna be super unmotivating. I think a lot of the times we start getting into these partnership agreements with other people because we're scared to go it alone. And that makes total sense, because I've been there myself. And when I first started my agency, I was thinking, God, it would be so good to share the load with somebody, know that it's not just me having to do all this work. But you don't need that. The reality is, it is, in the agency space, more often than not, a one-person mission. And if you can get it done yourself, you absolutely should. You don't need anybody else, and there really is no benefit, at least early on, to bringing on a business partner. I've seen it cause more problems than it's actually worth. So that's month one. Really, you're just gonna be absorbing information, plugging into Facebook groups, and I recommend you do that, going onto YouTube. But I'm gonna tell you right now, nothing is gonna teach you more than practical experience. Month two, for myself, and for probably quite a few of you guys, is where the investment starts. This is where you start spending money on your website, your Calendly integration, your Go high level subscription, and these things are necessary, and depending on how much money you actually have, you could spend anywhere from $500 to set up a website all the way to a few $1,000s. But if I'm being honest, if you're strapped for cash and you don't have a lot to work with, start small. Get a little basic website set up, get Calendly or a dedicated email account, and get those really basic things that just kind of separate you from the average Joe who's doing cold emails and reaching out to potential clients. Having a dedicated email domain, such as gavin@inbox.co.nz, is gonna be the easiest first point of difference that you're gonna have over people who are pitching potential clients with an @Gmail account. Now, odds are month two is where things are probably gonna start feeling a bit real, right? You're gonna be investing more money if you haven't already bought a course. You're going to have to start being obligated to make payments to certain subscriptions, such as Go High Level, on a monthly basis. And this is where things do get kind of real, right? You're starting to put money on your card. You know that that bill's gonna come again next month. And if you don't get clients, then you're not gonna be able to afford it the next month, which is why I always suggest to people to have a bit of a war chest saved up. And by war chest, I mean 6 months, 3 to 6 months of savings ready to go, so that even if you don't get any clients in those first 3 to 6 months, which odds are you probably won't, you can still survive and keep your business running in the background. That's what I did. Before I went in and set up my own business, I had about $22,000 to $23,000 saved up in my bank account, and that was excessive. Like, I didn't really need that much, but what it allowed me to do was save money or have money saved up, and also not worry if I didn't make my, client requirements the previous month. I didn't get all the leads that I needed. I just wasn't stressed out about it because I knew I had this cushion. I really recommend you guys do that. And if you also have a side job at the same time, keep that job. Don't go all in on the agency thing until you're fully at capacity managing both things. And realistically, that fully at capacity, if you have a part-time job that's 20, 30 hours a week and you're doing the agency, it's probably not going to get there until you have about 4 to 5 different clients, right? So that could be anywhere in like the 7, 8. In my case, was about the 9-month mark, or maybe it was the 8-month. I can't remember. But I only just recently moved away from contracting, and I'm currently at 8 clients, and we're doing about 15K a month. And I only just gave up my contracting job. So just having a security of a consistent source of income is huge. Month 3 is where I see a lot of people drop off. This is where the second billing cycle of your subscription kicks in, and odds are you probably haven't signed any clients. You may have started doing some outreach, and believe me, outreach is just a numbers game with consistent improvements to your outreach strategy over a period of time. And I've seen so many people, they'll download like a list of leads, pay $100 for it, email them all, get no responses, and then start thinking, oh my God, this is not possible, I can't do it, give up, cancel all their subscriptions, and then boom, they're done. Month 3 is kind of crunch time, right? It's crunch time in that you don't have money, your clients probably aren't there, but you still just need to keep going at it, keep pushing through. Now, obviously, if your outreach strategy isn't working, you're getting like, for example, using cold email, low open rates and low click rates, adjust it. Make sure there's some like tweaks here and there, but really it is a numbers game. When I first started, I sent out 600 different Loom videos to 600 different businesses. And from that, I got about 8 clients, right? But that took me 100 hours to record all 600 of those videos. It was just consistency, and it took me a while after sending those out before I actually got any leads. So if you can stick through month 3, you're gonna make it to month 4, right? I think it really is just a consistency game, and more often than not, if you've gotten to month 3, you're gonna get to month 4, month 5, month 6, and then it just gets better and better from there. Month 4, you will have hopefully signed a new or your first client. Now, this is really scary because for a lot of you guys, you might not actually be familiar with the service that you're actually delivering and are doing contractor arbitrage, which personally, I'm not a big fan of, but I've got a whole other video about that. You can check it in my history. If you do sign this first client in month 4, this should be your sole focus for your business right now. Over deliver, give everything you possibly can to this client. Do the best possible job you can. And the reason being is because what you're gonna learn when working with this client is things that are wrong with your systems and processes, how you can improve things granularly over time, and just improving your overall, like I said, systems and processes that you can then take those improvements and implement them to future clients. Client number 1 is probably not going to be the most satisfied client because you're still learning things, you're still figuring things out, but as long as you convey that to them and you let them know that you're learning and they see that you're trying your best, people are incredibly forgiving. And don't feel like you have to lie to people about them being your first client. I think some people say that, but I think honesty actually carries through, especially on these sales calls. If you say, hey, listen, full transparency, I'm an 18, 19, 20-year-old, I've just started my agency, I've consumed a lot of information, but I really just need somebody to take a chance on me so I can show them the results that I can get for them. That's huge. If I heard that as somebody, I'd probably say, fuck off. No, I'd probably say, hey, listen, I appreciate your honesty. Maybe we can negotiate the price a little bit because I am your first client, but let's get you on board. And you're gonna learn so much from that first client, right? I'm not a big fan of working for free, but the benefit is of working for free, you're not losing anything, or the client isn't losing anything, and you're gonna learn a shitload. So month 4, service delivery for your first client, hopefully. On top of that, you're also going to be continuously hitting your outreach on the side of things as well. Obviously, make sure you're giving your client the best possible outcome for the work that you promised them, but also continuously do your outreach. Keep getting on those sales calls. You want to have a stuffed pipeline, and that's pretty much at every stage of your business. In case that client goes away, at least you have more prospects coming in. So continuously do your outreach. Also, see how you can improve that as well. Tweak your email subject lines, improve your sales process, read as many books on this as you possibly can, and then apply them practically in a business sense. This is something that you're gonna have a huge advantage over when it comes to other people in the space, just because you have the ability to practically implement these things as opposed to people who theoretically know them, right? I'm a big advocate for reading books about this stuff, but the reality is, if you're not actively doing it, no book is going to teach you how to do it properly. You've just got to get out there, apply it, learn what works for you, and go from there. I know it sounds simple. I know everyone says this, but so many people actually do it. Month 5. If you smash it out the park for this other client, your first one that you potentially signed in month 4, use those results as a case study for future clients down the road. Now, I know it can be kind of hard to glean data from only 30 days of working, because if you think about it, you sign that client in month 4, we're now in month 5, but you can still take results from that and use it to actually present that information to other clients and other sales calls. I did it. I've got 2 clients that I worked with for only 30 days, crushed it for them, and I built case studies just off of those 30 days worth of work. And those case studies have been really useful for me in giving me social proof to other potential clients, as well as closing deals in sales calls. So make sure you over deliver to that first client that you have. You might even potentially get a second client. If something works in your sales process to get you the first one, it's probably going to work again for your second one, and probably will work again for your third, fourth, and fifth. After a certain point, things might need to change as who you're targeting changes and your prices increase, but for the time being, just keep replicating your outreach process that got you that first client, along with a few tweaks here and there. Month 6 is the milestone. If you can stick at this for month 6 and you've already got 1 client, or you haven't even gotten 1 client but you're still sticking at it, you're gonna get somewhere. It's just inevitable. It's a matter of repetitions, right? Month 6, odds are you probably still have your first, you might even have a second client on board, and you've probably now got a steady process by which you get new clients. Perhaps your cold email is running quite well, you've become a bit of an authority in some Facebook groups, your outreach has gotten a lot better, your sales process has gotten a lot better. The great thing about the smma space, or just the agency space in general, is that your skills compound, right? Like everything you learn in the first 6 months, you don't lose in the next 6 months. It just stacks. It's like you're stacking skills. It's like you're stacking skills that just makes the process down the line a lot easier, especially when it comes to getting new clients. For example, I'm about, a year in now, and the reality is I get clients so much easier. They almost come to me now, but that's only because I've laid all these foundations and I've done so much learning in that previous 6 months, in that previous year, where everything just comes so much easier. So just know that these first 6 months are probably gonna be the hardest, but as time goes on, things are gonna get easier. Your skills are gonna expand, they're gonna double up. It's the classic thing. 1 skill plus 1 skill doesn't equal 2 skills. It equals like 3, 4, 5. They compound, right? You're just going to get better and better and better the more stuff you add on. And as long as you're making a conscious effort to keep learning, you'll be fine. First 6 months are the hardest. I'll be honest. Like, I wasn't making a profit until literally 2 months ago, and it sucked. It was pretty trying. It felt like I was working for free a lot of the time, and it blew. But I learned so much, and now I'm in a position now where the business, not necessarily growing organically, but it's growing naturally in a way that doesn't require as much effort as it previously did. So if you can get to that point, all the power to you, but just remember, consistency in this game is key. If you like that video, subscribe, like, comment. I'm down to answer any questions that you guys have. Check out my website, let me know what you think. Match with me on Tinder and LinkedIn, and we'll go from there. Cool, guys. Thanks.